Further debate? I recognize the Solicitor General.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for recognizing me. And before I speak to Bill 75, I'm sad to share this morning Ontario woke up as a province in grief. And today, as many of us know, we are sadly mourning another officer murdered in the line of duty. We are devastated by the loss of Ontario Provincial Police Sergeant Eric Mueller. And we are praying for the other officers who have been injured as well in this tragedy in Eastern Ontario. We anxiously await their recovery. Madam Speaker, as details emerge, we will be moving for a moment of silence later this morning. And our hearts are with the families of the officers impacted by this senseless event. Our thoughts are also with the brotherhood and sisterhood of the Ontario police community. These are special people who put themselves on the line each and every day. As I've said many times here, everyone has a right to feel safe in their own home and community. Madam
Speaker, everyone has the right to feel safe in their community and in their home.
I'm delighted to speak, Madam Speaker, on this bill because I believe this place, it's such an honour for me to be here and sit with my colleagues in this legislature and be a part of a righteous opportunity to be part of democracy each day, a place that we all can contribute to bend the moral arc, the fabric of the values as who we are as Ontarians, and understanding what matters most. This place is utterly magnificent, and it belongs to absolutely everyone that calls Ontario home. I can tell you that after my election on June 2nd, proudly representing the people of York Centre, I really entered this building for my very first time. Although I may have been here insignificantly throughout my youth, unfortunately I don't remember those visits, when I walked in these stairs for my first time and asked one of our own guides in our home of democracy to show me around as an elected member, it was overwhelming. It was a sense of just awe that I was here. And we were here at so many times in our collective history since this building was built, most recently just this past Saturday at the 21-gun salute and ceremony at the coronation of King Charles III. God save the King. We have witnessed so many events and miracles that have been part of this building's history. Ontario is huge, and we know that. And our views are long because our province is so huge, and we know that as well. But we know that experience tells us never to take a clear sky for granted. Change can be abrupt and dramatic, and the biggest storms seem to appear out of nowhere. They challenge even the most experienced forecasters. So when I go back to my first minutes in this building shortly after my election and how utterly magnificent this building is, it didn't dawn on me how many parts of this building have seen generations that need repairs and restoration. Because we only see the beauty, we only see the carvings and the wood, we only see the majesty that exists. So for me, as I came to know here, as many of us have, walking the stairs, as the member said, in the days prior, where the halls can be hot, and in the summer they can be even hotter. We understand that this is a dome of democracy, something amazingly so precious. And I wonder if this building could talk about its life, what it could reveal about its story. Our democracy reminds us that we need to understand change, and we have to understand that change changes with time. Madam Speaker, this place is defined by our dreams. It speaks to a present written, a current present, not a present necessarily we give somebody, but it could be that as well, written by our shared responsibilities. And it speaks to the future potential, those who will succeed us one day here. And when I look around on all sides of the House, it really is gratifying how much appreciation people have of this place. And I'm really grateful for my colleague and mentor and friend, our government House Leader, who has really led the freshman class to appreciating all that this chamber, all that this legislature tells us. These hallowed halls are telling us that we will carry on in past traditions. And that, Madam Speaker, is one of the reasons why you are in the chair. You're a presiding officer, and this is part of our tradition. But there's more that exists. There's the bricks. There is the culture of the stonework. There's the respect of where these lands sit and how they sit. It talks about our history and those generations that were here long before us. It's amazing that we should never lose focus on what this building has meant to the approximate 1,980 people since Confederation that were elected to serve here. And I remember when the clerk of the House told me on my very first few days, my number, each of us has a number. They can't take that away from us. My number is 1,947. And when I look around the room, those who have been in so many preceding parliaments, their numbers are lower. But when you think about the honor that we have to be one of less than 2,000 people that call this place home, I still can't get over that. And I think of the courage and the dignity and the respect that our predecessors who were here had that allowed us to serve on this day, that allowed us to serve from different faiths and different backgrounds, to allow us to understand that this historic building has hosted numerous gatherings over the years. We've celebrated just in the last number of months since I've been here, understanding this is a gathering place for many. Every day there's a reception, and Madam Speaker, when I miss a reception or I don't know about it, I feel that I've missed out on something special in our own building. We've celebrated in recent months Black History Month celebration, and I want to thank everyone, including our Associate Minister of Women's and Social and Economic Opportunity, and the member from Ajax who put on this event. This event happened here in this building. I think of the Persian Heritage Month with the delicious food and teas that they served. And I thank our Minister of Children's Community and Social Services and the member from Carleton and others who attended that event. I recall the Lunar New Year celebration and the member from Richmond Hill who took leadership in that. And the member who led in the Hellenic Heritage Month in March. This was a wonderful opportunity. The member from Oakville, North Burlington. We celebrated Sikh Heritage Month. We celebrated Dutch Heritage Month. We celebrated Jewish Heritage Month and Polish Heritage Month and South Asian Heritage Month. And only in Ontario and only in this building, this magnificent dome of democracy, could we have done something as beautiful. Because as we've said, and the government House Leader has said, the Premier has said, I have said, our diversity is what makes Ontario and this legislature unbelievably special. Madame la Présidente, parce que notre diversity...
Ms. Speaker, diversity is our biggest success.
The diversity that we have in Ontario. And I tell people this in my riding of York Centre that is incredibly diverse. I tell it whenever I travel. It is something that we celebrate. This is something that will never be replicated likely anywhere in the world. And when we look at this building, a building that was built, as I started in my remarks, a long time ago, it has not undergone, as the member said, a major renovation in almost 100 years, or slightly over 100 years. And I would argue it depends what you call a renovation, because when I saw the old pictures of Premier Davis sitting here, or Premier Ray, or Premier Peterson, the carpet may have looked different, and the chair covers may have looked different as well. But really and truly, nothing lasts forever. And we need a building that will serve us for tomorrow. We need to make sure that from a safety perspective, that from an operational standard perspective, this building will serve parliamentarians for years to come. And even when it comes to safety, and again, I want to thank the leaders of the clerk's office and the speaker's office and the government house leader's office that takes the emergency preparedness so seriously. When we look forward, we're confronted with new challenges that we never historically had to deal with. It is still a great honor with ease as a member, or as we have our staff be able to walk through our building with such ease and comfort. But there are technological improvements that must be made as science and technology changes, and we have to be part of that change. We can't take our safety for granted. We can't compromise on this. We must make investments necessary to ensure that everyone who works here is not only safe but works in a healthy workplace. This is absolutely important. And I want to acknowledge the importance of the visitors and dignitaries that come in this building as well. Again, we are so excited to showcase this building because it is magnificent. We don't tell our dignitaries and our guests the behind-the-scenes tour. But we know that in order for us to continue showing off this building for generations to come, it has to have the physical improvements and infrastructure changes that it needs. I want to recognize in this workplace, in the special dome of democracy, the members and the staff and the legislative staff and the custodial staff, the amazing special constables and peace officers that keep us safe. These are amazing people. The librarians and everyone else that works part of the House of Democracy. When we have a safe community, we have absolutely everything. And I spoke about this when I started my remarks. But when we have a Queen's Park for tomorrow that will allow this to go another 100 years, it will. Our successors, many generations down, will thank us for the efforts and leadership we did in 2023 to pass this bill, understanding that we are now laying the seeds for a foundation for tomorrow. Just like those when this building was built did. So this bill is a big deal. It's a big deal, and if passed, the Queen's Park Restoration Act of 2023 will establish a secretariat within government tasked with planning and executing a full-scale restoration of the legislative building at Queen's Park, including temporary relocation of operations. And as the government House Leader has said, and others who are on the committee have said, we're learning from people who have done this. We're not reinventing a wheel to start with nothing. That's the beauty of seeing other houses of democracy who have already gone through the restoration, to have the best practices, to learn what they have learned, to take the nuggets of information forward so that we can benefit. This government will leverage its significant expertise in managing this large-scale infrastructure project. And we're doing that. You just have to look behind Whitney Block and you see that we're taking buildings, the Hearst and the McDonald Block, that needed renovation so that we will have offices for those people in an Ontario Public Service, first-class offices, safe offices, and for the people that work here and for the members, we deserve nothing less. This will provide, this Restoration Act, the Queen's Park Restoration Act of 2023, will provide a strong foundation on which government is given the authority and the accountability necessary to execute this on a timely manner. So as I kind of wrap up some final thoughts, I want to say how proud we all should feel that we took our place in this building in a moment in time, because it doesn't happen to everyone. We're not all that fortunate that those who saw fit to elect us brought us to this place. And that's why each time I walk in the door, I always say to myself, how blessed are we? Not how blessed am I, but how blessed are we? Because it doesn't matter who we are, or who we love, or who we worship, or how we worship, or where we came from, or how we got here. This place is ours. It belongs to everyone. And what matters is that we're here together, diverse and different, and absolutely incredible. I really want to again give my thanks to everyone for their dedication who works in this building, because they are heroes. As I consider myself proud that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to stand for election, to run for election, and to be right here, it just reminds me on how blessed we are. So I hope everyone will support Bill 75, because we believe in our province and in our future. Madame la Présidente, parce que nous croyons.
Ms. Speaker, because we believe in our province and the future.
And knowing, and I've said this before, but the lines fit again. This province is big. It's bigger than all of us. It's more important than any of us. Ontario was here before us. It will be here long after us. And most importantly, it belongs to every one of us. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Merci beaucoup. Miigwech.